My name is Nick, and I'm a fifth-year football player in Soch. And tonight, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to overcome adversity and some adversity that I faced in my own life, in school, and sport. And hopefully, I can give you guys some tips and tricks to kind of overcome adversity yourselves. So my first experience of overcoming adversity was in high school. I was diagnosed with a learning disability, and finding that out, I had to change a lot of the habits and study habits that I had going into school. A lot of teachers and professors always challenged my intelligence and my ability to succeed in university. In grade 12, I had a guidance counselor tell me that I wasn't going to get into the universities that I wanted to, and that I shouldn't really think of applying to them. So that was really discouraging for me, and I felt defeated by it until I talked to one of my mentors. I talked to a mentor of mine, and they gave me the confidence to believe in myself. That kind of changed my mindset into how I felt about applying to these schools. I ended up getting into all the schools that I wanted to, so I ended up proving my guidance counselor wrong, which I think was a big accomplishment for myself. I found a bunch of ways to help cope with my ADHD in high school, but when I came to university, I really struggled. My first and second year weren't the greatest. I found that the things I learned about my different learning styles from ADHD didn't really translate to university for me. So I really struggled in my first 2 years to try to find myself academically. After those 2 years of struggling, I finally found methods that helped me learn the best. They helped me really focus on school and really get my grades up. And in my fourth and fifth year, I accomplished one of the biggest academic accomplishments I have in my life, and that was being an academic All-Canadian twice. So what I learned from overcoming this adversity that I think you guys can take from that is I put my mind to when I put my mind to something, I'm able to adapt and overcome the obstacles. My second experience of overcoming adversity was more from the athletic side of my career of university, which was due to injury. It all started in my second year when I got my first opportunity to start on the football team. I had trained all summer to get ready to play that year, and I had felt like I was in the best position I possibly could be. Unfortunately, in our third game of that season, which was 2016, I tore my ACL in my right knee. I felt really defeated about it, and I didn't know how to really react about it. It was really hard after training so hard to get ready for that season. It was a real struggle for me to kind of find a good mindset. I ended up struggling with some depression that year, trying to find myself and really find a purpose. Without my sport, it was a real struggle to find that purpose. It wasn't until I listened to a podcast of an athlete that had been in a similar situation as me that I really I dug myself out of that hole. I changed my whole mindset and said that I would get myself ready for my third year and get myself again back in the best possible position I possibly could. I ended up having a great third year. I didn't have any major injuries, so there was a positive out of that. Unfortunately, it didn't really end there. In this off season of our third year, going into my fourth year, the unthinkable kind of really happened. I retore my ACL in the same knee. When that happened, I didn't really know how to react. For that to happen a second time is very low. It was really discouraging, and I really questioned everything about my sport and where my future really stood. At this point, I had my doctors telling me that it wouldn't really be possible for me to ever play a contact sport like football or any contact sport in general for the rest of my life. So I didn't want to let that bring me down. So I did some research to see if it was possible for me to finish out my career at the University of Guelph without an ACL. Finding very rare cases of it, there were people that were able to do it. So I made it my goal to kind of defy the odds and bring myself back in 6 months for our season in 2019. I was able to get my knee in shape, obviously wearing a knee brace to play, and I've played the last 2 years without an ACL in my right knee, which really proved to myself that I could defy the odds and overcome some major adversity in my life. What I think you guys can take from this is no matter what people tell you, all you need to do is believe in yourself. I had coaches and doctors not really sure if I was going to be able to perform at a high level, and I think I really stood out and went past that because I believed in myself. The key to overcoming adversity is really trusting in your own ability to succeed. I think that's the biggest thing that everyone can take from that is it's really trusting in yourself. That's everything for me. So I'm going to pass it along to the next person.